Hello, I'm Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood, Massachusetts Police Department and a member of the Executive Committee at the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Welcome to the second video in the IACP roll call series on eyewitness identification. Police officers responding to reports of crime play an important role in the identification process, even before a suspect is developed. In this video, you'll see officers responding to an armed robbery where they find two civilian witnesses, one of whom is the victim. You'll see them separate the witnesses to prevent one from overhearing the other. They'll get a description out on the air quickly, but then they'll slow things down and interview the witnesses using a cognitive approach. The procedures you see them use are designed to preserve the memory of each witness and to prevent contamination. Let's watch. Most people who end up being witnesses in criminal investigations obviously did not realize what was going to occur until it was underway.
Don't do anything stupid! Don't put your hands up! Just get the money!
All right, relax.
Get the
Okay,
money!
all right.
Part of the problem, of course, is that witnesses don't have advance notice that a significant event is going to occur. They are unprepared to take note of the subject's appearance. In many robbery cases, the call made to 911 is made by the victim himself. But of course, calls can also come from another witness or from a third party. So it's important that dispatchers understand that when they take a call, any call for service, that they should not ask leading questions, that they should allow for an open narrative to the extent that they can. And certainly they should not allow information from one call to bleed into another call. The officer who arrives at the scene and encounters multiple witnesses should separate those witnesses, both physically by moving them in separate directions, and also by telling them that it's important they not talk to each other or overhear each other's interviews.
Sir, could you tell me what he looked like?
In most cases, the officer is best served to interview the primary witness or the crime victim. In other words, the person who might have the best information about the offender and his direction of flight.
Shorter than you.
A little shorter?
I don't know about your chin.
In this case, it's best to just ask an initial description and to get that description on the air so that other units can be looking for the offender.
Heavy set or thin?
Thin. He was thinner.
Okay. Which direction did you last see him going when he went out the door, if you did at all?
He went left on Washington Street. That
Left
way.
down that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Stand by for 1
So
second.
going straight to the description and whether or not a weapon was used and the direction of flight is what most officers do.
Wanted in question for an armed robbery at 1060 Washington
Once the
Street.
broadcast has been made
White male.
and units in the vicinity are out searching for the offender, the officer can return to his preliminary interview.
On Washington Street.
All interviews with crime victims and witnesses should be done in a so-called cognitive manner. That is, to avoid the asking of leading questions and to ask for an open-ended narration.
Thank you for your patience, ma'am.
After the officer has taken a preliminary statement from the primary witness, he should move to other witnesses at the scene and take statements from them so that he does not lose track of them and so they do not leave.
I think with the hood up over his head.
Okay.
And he went up to the counter and pulled a gun.
Having the primary witness step away so that he does not overhear the interview is good procedure.
Or anything of that
I
nature?
couldn't see it. I saw him lift.
Did the man happen to
In this case, a woman who was in the store at the time of the robbery and understood that a robbery was underway may have a good description, albeit from a different angle.
Up your hands.
Officers must take particular caution when interviewing subsequent witnesses to ensure that they do not allow information from the first witness to leak into the interview of the second
Took
witness.
all the cash from the box
all the cash?
and stuffed it in his pocket as he
For
ran
instance, don't take information from the primary witness's description and ask the second witness
out.
questions.
He was thin. He had on
For
jeans.
instance, don't say, "Do you think the hoodie was black?" because the subsequent witness might not have described the shirt as being a hoodie, and quite frankly, she might be correct.
Okay, sir. Like I had said earlier out in the storefront, we need to go into a little more detail
Yeah.
as to what happened earlier today.
So once the officer has taken the preliminary interview and has broadcast the subject's description, the officer will have an opportunity to take a more in-depth interview of the witness. Here, the cognitive interview procedure should be employed, which essentially means that the officer should ask open-ended questions and allow for a full narration. The fewer questions asked by the officer, the better. Let the witness talk.
And I looked up and I saw him, and looked back down, and then next thing I know, he's coming at me with the gun.
The witness may relay information in a chronological order, or may not. The witness may begin with the description,
Anything else you recall?
or may begin by talking about when he last saw the offender.
He was wearing the black sweatshirt with a hoodie. Might have been a
In any event, let the witness talk. It is important that the information come from the witness in the order in which he remembers it, not the order in which it will appear in your report.
Put my hands down. Then he asked for the money.
When a witness stops talking and seems to be thinking, looks in another direction, don't talk. Pauses are good. It may be that the witness is attempting to recall vital information, and a question from the officer could interrupt that.
And then what happened?
If the pause seems unreasonably long, a prompting question can be used, such as, "So what else? Tell me more.
And then I called
What then?"
911.
Great. Okay, what I'd like to do now
Yep.
is go back to the beginning and piece together everything that you just told me and try and do it in a chronological order, if you could.
Okay.
As much detail as you remember.
All right.
After the witness has completely recounted the story and his
Okay, so
memory
let's
is
go back to the
exhausted,
description of the suspect.
now is the time
Give me
to
as
take
much detail
a
as
second
possible.
statement.
It was a sweatshirt with a hood on it.
Okay. And the body type on the gentleman?
This
He was
time,
thin. I remember
by
that.
asking questions and taking notes.
Anything else you think might help? Any facial features or anything of that nature?
The officer should ask questions in a chronological order and walk the witness through the event.
Okay. I think we have all the detail we need at this point in the investigation. I'd like to thank you again for your time,
Okay.
and we'll be in touch.